Here today, since I've been in the Senate, which has been a little over 5 years, I think I've been the most steadfast voice in terms of whatever we want to do here, we shouldn't be borrowing it from our kids and our grandkids. Any of you up there listening, it's a sad state of affairs in the sense that just a little over 5 years ago, we were $18 trillion in debt, borrowing at the tune of about $1 trillion a year to backfill for all the things we want to do here and ask you and your kids to pay for it. To me, that's a bad business plan. Sadly, it gets even worse. Over these 5 years, instead of $1 trillion annually, it's now $1 trillion every 6 months. For those of you that are good at math, take current interest rates, apply that to 34 trillion, soon to be 35, if it's not already crossed that threshold. That is a big figure with a lot of zeros behind it. To put it in perspective, the interest on that alone is going to be about what we spend on defense in the next year, or the discretionary side of our budget. How we've ever gotten there, I don't know. And we're going to be considering another package tomorrow, Friday, that takes the whole process of doing budgets, asking, do you really need it? Aren't there some places that we can surely get back to where we don't spend more than we take in? Because when we don't, we're borrowing every penny of it. And on every dollar that we spend here, 5 years ago, it was about 20 cents of that dollar we had to borrow. Now it's 30 cents. And the arithmetic, the numbers don't just go away. It'll be the single biggest thing all of you, this country, has to deal with over the next 5 to 10 years. And it's just starting to get to the point where it's going to literally break the back of the American public. Sooner or later, you won't have people lending us that money. Sooner or later, it's going to crowd out almost everything we do here. And it's shameful in my mind. I want to focus on one actually small part of it, but what is symbolic of what shouldn't be happening here. Earmarks. Earmarks are justified because we ought to be able to maybe do it better here, should have input in it, not let the executive branch do that. But to me, that would be valid if, in fact, we were balancing our budget in the first place. And until we get total fiscal reform here and at least start to turn it around to where the deficits get smaller, the debt is never going to get smaller because, in general, if you take out a loan, imagine if you told your banker, I just want to pay interest only for as long as I have that loan. They'd laugh you out of the office. So when it comes to earmarks, this bill is filled with them. One too many years ago, we got rid of them. Then the House started doing them again, both sides of the aisle. We are elective here if you want to do it or not. But to me, that's fine, not in the context that that's new money. Every earmark, you have to lend us the money, or maybe somebody overseas. Who knows what will do it down the road. It's got a lot of other stuff in it that you're not going to like in terms of policy that goes along with the spending. It's no wonder to me that Americans say, what is going on here? How are we going to change it? We're not going to change it until you demand it. Two simple things: term limits and a balanced budget amendment. Then it'd run like your households and most other governments around our own country. Madam President, I ask unanimous consent to strike the joint explanatory statement to accompany H.R. 4366, the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2024, that was printed in yesterday's record.
Is there objection?
Madam President,
The senator from Washington.
I object.
Objection is heard.